that there should be no development taking place without we being consulted. And it doesn't have to be development by just the government, because it's not only the government does development, private people and private sector persons engage in development. You know how many businesses that we see come around in this day and age, and then they have 16 steps to climb up to them, or 5 steps without a railing? This should not be in this day and age. In this day and age, we cannot be building 3-story buildings and expect a person who has aged, whose synovial fluid between their joints are drying out, who's going to suffer from rheumatism, and you are going to tell me that no arrangement, no consideration is given to these people having to climb 40 or 50 steps to get to a top floor of a building? Very good. So we need to be able to start to talk, and it doesn't even start, it's not the only head. We need to go down to the street level, and we need to educate our bus drivers. Our bus drivers must understand that the decibel levels of the music, on the vehicles that they carry older persons, or they park next to somebody and older person's house, this is damaging to our health. We need to be able to bring it up to that level. And brothers and sisters, these are some of the basic things we need to be able to do so that we can do what? Make Dominica an age-friendly city, or an age-friendly nation. So brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to celebrate 30 years of this organization. During these 30 years, the organization has done many things. The organization has toiled as well. Because this organization, and I know my members don't like me to say that, but I like to say it. But this organization is an organization at our age to make us professional beggars. Professional beggars beg for help from our citizenry to help bring our message to the rest of the persons that matter. And it is no fault of no one, but that is something in society we cannot stop fighting against. Because we need to be able to educate not just the people who are in position today, but the younger people to come. And it is a fight, according to John Lewis, the American civil rights and congressman who died recently. Our fight as older persons and our fight as members of the Dominica Council Nation is not a fight for today. It's not a fight for one day or one time. It's not a fight for a lifetime. It is a fight to the end. Because to the end is more meaningful than a lifetime. Because you know why? A lifetime ends when you die. But to the end is as long as man exists. Because this psyche, this classifying us, this cohort of persons who are 60 years old and over, persons who try to think of us as people who are useless, this is going to continue. But we need to do what the nations have done. Educate the masses, educate our younger persons, and let them know that older persons need to be respected, and older persons are indeed important. So brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, being here today is a little opportunity for us to be able to put a feather in our cap. A feather in our cap to say that an organization existing for 40 years, by any standards, is an organization that has achieved the milestone. We have achieved the milestone. And we have achieved this milestone with the help of the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The government is one of our major benefactors. Sometimes we end up on the wrong side, but that's the process of life. But we need to recognize that we could not have been here today. And we remain very thankful as well for them. We could not have been here today if it was not for the government of Dominica, assistance to the Dominica Council on Aging. And let me ask you to give them a round of applause. I went in the opposite way, but I should have gone to say we should recognize our patron, Her Excellency, the President of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The President is our patron, and everything we boast with her blessings. And Your Excellency, Your Excellency and Mr. Wood, thank you very much for your patronage. Thank you very much for your support. We would like, some of my members say we would like to have more dialogue with you, but we know you serve the whole nation and you meet with us in many other spheres and other realms. So I know we cannot always have you, but we are happy to have you, and we are very, very happy that whenever we write to your office asking for your presence at any function, we always get a positive answer. Let us give them a hand. To our minister with special responsibilities for social services, Dr. Cassandra Williams. I have tried to tell her that I want to move to that place so I could see her a little bit more. But I must say, we have been working very closely with her ministry. As anything else we do, it's a big task they have to do. But they do it, and sometimes they don't always deliver when we want, but at the end they do deliver. So I would like to tell the Honorable Minister, thank you very much, and give her a round of applause for that. And if we have to recognize other persons, we have other persons in the general public. One of our major sponsors, who we call a special patron, is the National Bank of Dominica. If the National Bank of Dominica, the National Bank of Dominica sponsors most of our social events, social and educational events. We are very, very grateful to them for that. I want to also highlight, I may not be able to highlight all because there are too many of those that give it to us, but there are some special ones. I would like to highlight Joseph and Gabriel and Company. Joseph and Gabriel and Company has made their business depending on their sales of water. So I'm asking you, I'm taking an advertising pitch there. Drink, drink, drink. It's a water. So on behalf of them, they do, depending on their sales, do contribute without we asking them, as often as they can, to us. They don't have to wait for an event. They send a check to us whenever it is possible. And I'm very happy, ladies and gentlemen, this morning to receive a check in secret from the representative, Mrs. Simela. So give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. But there's another one I can't run away from. There is, you heard Mrs. Prince, our chairperson, mention, we pay tribute to our fallen comrades, our fallen icons, our fallen gems, our fallen centenarians. We still have how many of them left? 13 left. Alright? But you heard we lost our oldest man in Dominica. The great Asha Timothy, better known as Uncle Mark. chance. And she lived for 110 years. So it is hanging out there. But ladies and gentlemen, we need to keep these persons in our memory. We need to keep these persons who give us evidence that Dominica is still a place with a clean and relatively pristine environment that allows people to reach that age. Not too long ago, we were in Granby to welcome another centenarian, Mr. Yendi George. And this was a man who, he is on a wheelchair, but I've never known him on such a powerful voice. We need to cherish these 13 persons we have. And during the course of the presentation today, or in the booklet, you will see the names of the 13 other living centenarians. Right now, currently, our oldest living centenarian is 105 years old, and that is Mrs. Elvira and Todd again, but this time a lady now from the Northeast in Denver. Give them a round of applause. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that the Council on Aging does is that we need to showcase our older persons, and we need to showcase our senior citizens. So I'm saying this because there is a gentleman who took it on his own, and he said every centenarian, every individual who attains the age of 100, he will give them, or his firm will give them a donation of a full hamper. And at every birthday of that person, as long as that person is alive, that person always gets a hamper, and as well every Christmas. They are part of the people who put together a hamper for older persons. That person, we didn't ask that to be done, but the firm of Eastern Trading took up that and gave them a hamper. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to recognize these people. Labor, and therefore, ladies and gentlemen, there are many others who give us lots of good things, but time does not permit me. And I'm a man, when I get on the stage, I don't need living. But let me close it. Let me say that we are very thankful to all other members of the corporate citizenry that helps us. But I cannot go ahead without mentioning Jay's Bookstore. Jay's Bookstore, we went to them asking to sponsor our radio program, Seniors on the Move. We went to them asking them to sponsor maybe for a few months. Jay's Bookstore went on and sponsored for almost 4 years without we asking them. And so we should say, thank you very much. Right now we are looking for more sponsorship to continue that program because we cannot keep all on Jay's. So if anybody here knows or here of any organization or any institution that wants to do that, to sponsor our radio program where we dialogue for an hour, at least once a month or twice a month with our older persons, let us know. We as I'm a professional beggar, so to come my way. So we would like to thank these people, but also I would like to thank you, the members of the Dominica Council on Aging. You have stood strong. You have worked during the past 30 years. Once upon a time, about just prior to Hurricane Maria, we had about 32 groups of older persons around the island. But we have aged. We age. And the replacement of the recruitment rate is not as high as the departure rate. Today we have some of our members from our various groups here, and I'd like you to give them a round of applause. They are very, very good groups that keep things alive. And also, brothers and sisters, I would like the members who have stood in thick and thin, I see out of your head, you're not looking young every day, I see you. Even though I like to see when we bring you all together, we dance even with one leg, or if there's one arm we move, we dance together. I would like to tell you, give yourselves a round of applause for being there. And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank the staff. Before the staff, please, I did the last colleague. The board of directors of the Dominica Council on Aging. They are a group of 9 of us that I try to push as much as possible. That group, they give selflessly. They take time off from the busy schedule to give the council, time. And they make meaningful contributions. So I'd like to give them a round of applause for it. But today could not have been possible without 4 people that are running around the room today. There are 4 persons when we felt most things could not happen. They made it happen. I was brought up in a Catholic home, and we always were told, with God, all things are possible. But my mother, who lived 99 years, always told me, but with man, most things are possible. And with these ladies and this gentleman, keeps on running and no things around. Up to last night, we thought today could not have been possible. But they made it work. And we would like to thank again them, their families who I take them away from very often and for long hours. I'd like to thank them and their families for the work they put in today's event and the work of the council. So give them a round of applause. And to the 2 other special guests we have here today, Mr. Jules and Ms. Donia Coffee, who's going to display their skills as older persons to make you realize you don't develop a skill overnight, and that you just do not become who you are overnight. And not because you are old, you cannot be old. I would like to say thank you to them. And thank you very much, Mr. Jules and Ms. Coffee. Thank you. Give them a round of applause. The Council on Aging, in our next session, we are going to be presenting the work of the council in detail. And we're going to do this in keeping with the laws of Dominica. One of the things about the laws of Dominica is that if you're an organization like us, you must produce your annual audited statements to give an account and a record of every cent that is being spent by this organization. This organization is what it is because it has never faltered. It has never, except during COVID, not been able to present an annual audited statement of its expenditures and its income. And today I would like to recognize Mr. Director, who has taken on the job for almost nothing to help us put our accounts together. Give Mr. Aaron. Ladies and gentlemen, I have exceeded my time. Thank you very much. And I thank you again for coming. And to our members, we will see you in our next session. Thank you very much.
Everything he said, we wanted to hear. So, okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Nigel Lawrence, the president. Of course, mention was made of the Northeast and Centenarians who have passed and were still alive. And we are so happy to have one of them. I remember Mr. Jones in the youth division, and he is so happy to be among the seniors. We have done a documentary of the seniors in this community. So that speaks volumes, and I'm going to recite to us a poem, and I'm sure it touches our seniors. Mr. Jones, please come forward.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I count it a privilege to be here this morning, and you may hear my voice a bit strange. That's not my normal voice. I'm fighting the flu. Nevertheless, it's a pleasure to be here this morning to share with you a poem Mr. Nigel. I was falling in love with that poem since when I did it sometime last year. I had to do some adjustments to it because it was done specifically for an occasion where we observed 14 of our centenarians from Grand Forks. And those, we have passed, but we still have one who is still alive. We were happy to have her at that function. So I wrote this poem, and it actually is a message. It is a message, a mix for the young and the old. It is part English and part Creole. And so I entitled this poem, Appreciate Old Age, Wasim Nu. So tell me, as I turn this page, what do you see when they ask you, what's your age? Some of you might say, I'm over 70 years old. You never say, I'm 70 years elderly. So why are you afraid to be bold and proudly say, I'm 80 years old? Because our thinking has been cast in a false and insecure mold. That's why many don't discover the beauty and the value of becoming old. Google described it nicely. When you've been existing for a long time, you're old. And when you're showing signs of age, you're elderly. As you get older, you definitely get wiser. And as you grow older, not elderly, you become more aware and look at life differently. You see the value of the years gone by. Others either add value or devalue the time you now have to spend as you anticipate and approach the expected end. To those who are younger and don't like to be told, you know you're getting old. Getting old or becoming old is not at all a bad thing. Even if you lose your teeth, you're afraid to breathe, and now you cannot sing. Even you may not be you recognize as the king or queen, and I see we have a king and queen recognized. Or even you know cannot move like you used to. Or even if you cannot continue to be the cock or the pullet you have been. That doesn't mean we have no use for you. You have done your share. You have played your part. To those who are young and who think life just starts, remember, the Lord says to guard your heart. Don't think because you are young and so strong that the world is yours and nothing can go wrong. Don't be foolish to think you have all the time in the world. Definitely, you too, you're getting old. And pretty soon, before you figure it out, you begin to lose the teeth in your mouth. Your hands begin to shake, and you have lazy feet. So enjoy it now, because life is so sweet. But just remember the Creator. For when you too get old, you may not be able to see, you may not be able to hear what you are being told. For if you mistakenly think, then old people in a corner they should park. When I tell you something, get a doctor to examine your head because you have a crack. Because while you are saying that and you're feeling so old, take note, you too, you get it old. Ou que vinifier, ou ni pour vinifier. Quand vous vinifier. Qui vous voulez, qui vous pas voulez. Quand ça coûte moins, moi, il y a un petit moment. Il dit, c'est des hommes j'allais aussi, tout ça qui vient pour jeter. Mais ça va vrai. Autant nous cadibiter sans nous cacher. Avec l'air vrai, nous t'es mal observé. Après ça, nous allons répéter. Mais de ça, on a jeté. On est pour faire certains qui, ça, on a jeté, ou pas qu'il manger. Puisqu'il y a un jour où on obligé de faire. Ça où j'étais, il tenait cette valeur. C'est pour ça, joli, moi je voulais en changer. Septembre l'année passée, nous en confond, nous célébrons 14 mois qui m'ont dit au vieux, tant au passé. Mais chaque rivière, on 100 années, avec une sacrifice de plus. Et puis, chaque tenue valeur, les jeunes. En parmi eux, tenue une femme, la Queen Price. C'était un moyen dans ces quadrilles. Avec nous tenions femme et non. Il était qu'à jouer banjo. Nous étions qu'à payer chile. En radio, nous étions qu'à faire pain. On a fait à prendre faire du vin. C'est bien ça là. Non qu'aux femmes. Ils ont tenu l'État. Ils ont tenu gamme. Comme ça, pas comme pièce la peine. Faites tout ça au pays pendant un jeûne, avant qu'il l'emploi éteint. Est-ce qu'on va changer? Il était ni social league. Qui m'a dit qu'il a changé ça? Social league. Il y a une société qui montre les femmes qui la vie c'était plus passé planter de la chaîne de filles. Il va prendre travail à l'agriculture. Il va planter les jeans et puis les bébêtes. Il va prendre les cochons, poules et puis lapins. Il va prendre faire du vin, préparer différents plats et puis faire pain. Il va tenir force. Et puis la divine. Pas comme à un jeune gens qui parle de travail. Ils ont passé qu'on a fait et puis ils ont resté tout le long à travail. Ils ont passé qu'on a assis à table. On met bon chemin. Certains gens là, pas ça jamais resté fait. Puisque vous aimez travail. Il dit, c'est moi qui a choisi. Mais ça pas vrai. Nous tenions un homme qui était nous avons pris top forme. Malgré tous les bons matins, il était en rivière à pêcher. Top forme pêcher l'oche, il pêchait crébiche, il pêchait coco et puis millette. Et puis non ça là, vivait au 100 années. Est-ce que vous dit, c'est vrai que tu es? Non. Alors, mon après, c'est manger, bio, dombré, et puis calalou, qui cabaye la vie. C'est ça qui fait un fort. C'est ça qui fait la vie pour vivre en 100 années et puis. Mais changer, bon manger, sans amour et puis respect pour papa, pour dire, qu'il va avoir force sans pouvoir. Peut-être la vie sans la paix. Comme insistance sans pouvoir. Mais c'est qui vont dire la vie toute qui est une significance et puis la vie depuis ou pas mal travail. Je dis, à nous tout le temps apprécier et puis célébrer la vie. Nous commandons tout le monde esprit ces jeunesses-là pour respecter ces verrous-là qui est parmi nous. Il faut nous remercier pour tout ça, il a grâce pour vivre sans nous. Ça, c'est un honneur pour une place. Ça, c'est l'histoire nous. Nous besoin embrasser. Nous besoin écrire. Nous besoin préserver. C'est un bon métier. Merci pour nous. Nous sommes 13 en parmi nous toujours. Nous sommes Jérusalem, en Joadidon et puis nous sommes à Auguste George. Moi, Elvira Anatole, moi, Joséphine Lucia, Paul Joseph et puis Julien Scotland. Moi, Christine White et puis moi, Yves Leblanc. Moi, Méjero et puis moi, Marguerite André. Moi, Karina Joseph et puis Martha Joséphine Pascal, moi, Fifi. Zor, c'est Wassim. Marcos Gavi, il y a un peuple qui peut connaître l'histoire, l'origine et puis qu'il dit, c'est qu'on a un pied bois sans Wassim. Je dis, c'est le 30e anniversaire. Non, il est comme son Dieu. D'ici au Inc. Comme on a observé le 30e anniversaire, moi, encourager tout le monde à le faire. Puis, ça a point soin et puis soulever racine du pays là. Moi, je prier pour ça, taper plus force, plus assistance, plus support, plus l'argent, plus foi, plus la foi. Comment on a continué de travailler pour protéger racine du pays là? Moi, je vais battre bravo la zone toute. Pas une fois, 2 fois, 3 fois, tout le monde, battre bravo pour Dominica comme ça. Merci.
I think he deserves another round. And for me, it was a Creole. You feel the depth and the difference. And imagine saying, s'il vous plaît, si vous parlez of DJ if you want to get over. But yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Jules. our very Honorable Dr. Cassandra Williams with us. We are so very happy to have her. She'll now come to address us. Minister responsible for social services in the Ministry of Health and Welfare. Please give her a word.
Representatives of partner organizations, the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my privilege to be here. For a moment last evening, I thought I would not be able to make it as I sat beside my 99-year-old grand-uncle at the hospital. You may have heard of the news that there was a house on fire in Davis about 2 Fridays ago, and that was my grand-uncle's house. And for a moment last night, I thought he was leaving. And so I saw my aunt around, the representative for ESA, and tried to prepare everybody. But I realized that I wasn't ready for him to go. And I told him so, I'm not ready. See, he calls me his angel. And I was granted that privilege of having him around still. And I hope, I pray that he makes it to the 100th mark. So it's my privilege to be here to stand before you as a minister with responsibility for social services and responsibility for senior security this morning to celebrate with the Dominica Council on Aging its 30th annual general meeting. This year's theme, celebrating our seniors, 30 years of care, cooperation and commitment, is not simply a slogan. It is a testimony. It is a reflection of 3 decades of unwavering advocacy, compassion, sacrifice, and service to the elderly people of Dominica. Today, we celebrate this organization as a movement of love and dignity for our senior citizens. For 30 years, the Dominica Council on Aging has been a voice for those whose voices may seem to have faded amidst the noise around them and are sometimes overlooked. You have stood beside our seniors through moments of joy and moments of vulnerability. You have reminded our nation that aging is not a burden, but a blessing, not a decline in birth, but a continuation of wisdom, resilience, and contribution. Today, we salute every volunteer, caregiver, board member, social worker, community advocate, and partner who has poured time, energy, and heart into this noble mission. Your commitment has touched lives in ways that statistics can never fully measure, and in ways that we can never show enough gratitude for. But above all, today belongs to our seniors, to the mothers and fathers who sacrificed so their children could dream bigger than they could ever do, who made every penny stretch further than we do with what we have today, to the farmers who rose before sunrise and worked the land under the chalet shore, to feed families and build communities, to the teachers who shaped minds and generations, to the doctors, nurses, and caregivers who care for the sick, to public officers and tradesmen, fisherfolk, vendors, entrepreneurs, community leaders, homemakers, who carried Dominica through some of its most difficult moments and whose labor built the Dominica we know today. We honor you, we thank you, and we celebrate you. As we gather here today, however, our celebration is also accompanied by reflection and remembrance. Over the past year, we have lost cherished members of our senior community, individuals whose lives left lasting marks on families, villages, churches, and communities across Dominica. Some of those individuals were deeply connected to the work of the Dominica Council on Aging. Others quietly impacted lives in ways that may never be publicly recognized, but which mattered immensely to those around them, and their contributions remain written in the hearts of those who loved them. Today we honor their memory. To the families who continue to grieve their losses, I extend heartfelt condolences on behalf of the government and people of Dominica. May you find comfort in the memories shared, the lessons taught, and the love that remains long after physical presence is gone. Their generation carried this country through difficult times, through hardship, economic uncertainty, hurricanes, and sacrifice. Because of them, we stand where we stand today. We owe them more than gratitude. We owe them protection, dignity, care, and respect. And that is why the government of Dominica continues to place significant emphasis on the well-being of all the persons. The government remains deeply committed to improving the lives of all the persons. Through the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Social Services and its dedicated healthcare teams, senior clinics continue to be offered at health centers across the island, ensuring that elderly citizens receive focused care, monitoring, education, and support tailored to their needs. These clinics are a reflection of our belief that seniors deserve accessible, compassionate, and dignified health care. We will continue to make that effort. Beyond healthcare, the government continues to support social programs and initiatives such as the Yes to Care program, aimed at strengthening social protection, reducing isolation among older persons, and promoting active and healthy aging. We recognize that senior security goes beyond finances alone. It means ensuring our seniors feel safe, valued, heard, and connected. It means ensuring that no elderly person feels abandoned. It means protecting their rights, promoting their health, and preserving their dignity. The government remains committed to working hand in hand with organizations like the Dominica Council on Aging, because partnerships matter. The progress we seek cannot be achieved by government alone. It requires cooperation between state institutions, civil society, families, churches, caregivers, and communities. And so today, I wish to assure the Dominica Council on Aging that the ministry's support remains steadfast. We value your work, we appreciate your advocacy, and remain committed to strengthening collaboration as we continue building a society where seniors can age with dignity, purpose, and peace of mind. Ladies and gentlemen, the responsibility we carry toward our seniors does not belong to the government alone. It belongs to every one of us. It belongs to families. It belongs to communities. And importantly, it belongs to our young people. Too often, generations drift apart. We live in the same homes, the same villages, and the same communities, yet sometimes fail to truly know one another. I visited an elderly in Davis about 2 weeks ago, and he lamented over the fact that though he lived so near the road, the pathway where everybody uses every day, nobody stops to say good morning. find out as an elderly blind man whether he has had a meal for the day. Yes, he has a caregiver, but she's not there all the time. Not even good morning. That is sad, I think. Very sad. And we need to change that. In a rapidly changing world, we must intentionally create spaces where the wisdom of our seniors can meet the curiosity of our youth. Today I want to make a special call to action to our young people. Spend time with your elders. Sit with your grand and great-grandparents. Ask questions. Listen to their stories. Learn how they lived, how they loved, how they survived hardships without many of the conveniences we now take for granted. There's tremendous value in hearing about the good old days, not simply for nostalgia, but because within those stories are lessons about resilience, community, discipline, humility, and perseverance. I also want to encourage our schools across Dominica to create more opportunities for intergenerational engagement. Invite seniors into classrooms to share stories of village life, traditional customs, old-time games, farming practices, cultural traditions, and experiences that shaped our nation. Allow students to hear firsthand what Dominica looked and felt like decades ago. Imagine the impact of storytelling featuring seniors from the community, reading programs pairing students with elderly mentors, school choirs visiting senior homes, community gardening projects involving seniors and youth, digital literacy sessions where young people help seniors use technology, and oral history projects where students document the memories and experiences of our elderly citizens. These are not small things. These are the bridges that strengthen society. So as we look ahead to the future, let us reflect also on the example our seniors continue to set for us. In a world often consumed by speed and division, our elders teach patience, resilience, humility, and compassion. They remind us of the importance of community. They remind us that people matter more than possessions. They remind us that the strongest societies are those that honor their elders. 30 years of care, 30 years of cooperation, 30 years of commitment. What an extraordinary place. May the Dominica Council on Aging continue to grow from strength to strength. May your work continue to inspire generations to come. And may every senior citizen in Dominica know that they are deeply valued, deeply respected, and deeply loved. Thank you, and God bless.
This by itself can be a very good thesis for some university. The person who wants to write a paper about your preparation. She said yes. Okay, I remember what she said. What struck me was we owe them more than gratitude. And the stronger societies are those who honor their elders. Very, very informed. And of course the call to action, because we can have all of those words, but the call to action is very important. When last did those of us who don't have a granny, adopt a granny, go and clean their house, comb their hair. And while you're there, you're learning, you're becoming a better person. Because our centenarians are queens and kings and judges, as Frida usually say. They are judges. We will now have musical rendition from Julia Coffee, and she'll be doing that in a cappella style.
Millions of souls, but only one you.
So I can even refer to it as something that we can go over and listen again and again. Thank you so much for your presence. Of course, we spoke about seniors, and most of the seniors did say other than the food and the family support. Their God, their church was number one, and we were really happy to have deacons, deacons. Their church was number one. And we very much respect you. Feel this very few. Thank you. The DCOA on every year would have what is called the Senior Sports Day. We'd like to call on the NCC representative here to present to the winning team. Guess who was it? From Wesley. Wesley Seniors. We have the Seniors Group of the Year for Sports 2020. Presented by NCC. Somebody else, that's it. Stop. Okay, we're happy that we are coming to the end of this very, very important occasion, call it a milestone. We want to thank all of you who have made this effort to be here. It could have been something. We want to thank the board of directors, the staff who've been running from the time they hear they go, they've been there with us. We want to thank all those who are taking care of the elderly at the elderly homes, the family, members of the head table who have made the presentation, and the media, of course, everyone in one way or another that keeps the elderly in their heart. Thank you so much for your official thank you. We'd like to call on Mr. Alexander, the Secretary. We'll go to France.
Good morning, all. First of all, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Council on Aging, I would like to say thanks to Her Excellency Mr. Britton and Mr. Britton for gracing us with presence this morning. It's always a pleasure to have you with us in our functions. To the Ministry responsible for Social Services, thank you very much for being here and for your inspiring words. They can buy a coffee for offering prayers on our behalf. To Mr. Jules Pastor for your wonderful poem or words, as you call it. Also to Julia Coffee, your rendition is wonderful. Great voice, thank you very much. Mrs. Murray for your goodness in national anthem. And also to our esteemed benefactors. And I want to mention that, of course, the NCCU, Joseph Gabriel Company, Eastern Trade Limited, the government of Dominica, for continuing to support the Dominica Council on Aging. Without your support, we won't be here today. Also, we want to thank the agencies who are here this morning for supporting us. The representative rep of the Dominica Association of Security and the class we want to say thank you for your work. And I want to say a special thank you to Ms. Isolam, our field officer. I try to make it a point of duty at every visit to the centenarians for the birthdays and at Christmas time to go with her to visit, to go with the son to visit. And it is a pleasure when we go to see how this will react to her. It means that she's doing something very special with these people. And of course, I want to say also, and the minister made a statement this morning for reference school children and school choirs visiting elderly persons. And I remember when I was a primary school teacher, we had an excellent school choir at my school. And we did that. Of course, the parents were very supportive and the children were very happy to do it. And you will imagine how happy these people were when these children came and sang at the schools. And when we visit the centenarians and we sing with them, like with my guitar, and we sing, it's to hear them clap and sing along with us as well too. So those of you who can make it when we're going to visit them, try and come to experience that. Because it's a wonderful experience being among them. I remember my church choir also sometimes when everybody is so busy, all of them so we don't do enough. So you really have to make time to visit our elderly persons in our communities. So again, and I want to say thanks to all of you who came here this morning. And because as I said previously, you could have been somewhere else, but you chose to be here. And of course, a big thank you to the Creator of all who forgiven this life. Thank you.